At my ex-wife's wedding reception, her mother leaned close, smirked, and whispered, "Want to look?" And in that frozen second, I knew whatever she meant would change everything I thought I'd survived. If you've ever walked into a room where your name no longer belongs, you'll understand why my chest tightened the moment I stepped into that hotel ballroom. My name is Daniel Cross, divorced, quiet, recently promoted and still lonely enough to notice the echo when I exhale. I wore a borrowed suit and a practiced smile, standing near the champagne tower like a guest who arrived by mistake. My ex-wife, Natalie, was glowing across the room in white, laughing with the ease I once thought I caused. Turns out, happiness doesn't always take you with it. I told myself I was here for closure, for proof that I was okay. Then there was Helena Ward, Natalie's mother. She stood near the windows, silver hair perfectly pinned, eyes sharp with a knowing calm that unsettled me more than Natalie's absence ever had. Helena had always been elegant, distant, impossible to read. During the marriage, she barely spoke to me. After the divorce, not at all. Until tonight. She watched me the way doctors watch scans, like she already knew what was broken. Across town, earlier that same evening, Helena had stared at herself in the mirror, pressing a hand to her sternum as if steadying a long-held secret. She'd promised herself she wouldn't interfere anymore, that some truths, once buried, deserved to stay quiet. But secrets rot. When her eyes met mine across the ballroom, something passed between us, recognition, maybe, or inevitability. I lifted my glass. She didn't. She smiled. And that was the moment I knew our paths, long separated, were about to cross in a way neither of us had planned. Helena waited until the music swelled, strings rising, laughter cresting, before she moved. She crossed the room with measured steps, heels whispering against marble, and stopped beside me as if it were coincidence. Her perfume hit first. Jasmine. Familiar. Natalie used to wear it until one day she didn't. "You look thinner," Helena said, softly, eyes still on the dance floor. "I've been busy," a lie that tasted old. She hummed, then finally turned toward me. Up close, her smile wasn't warm. It was precise, surgical. And then she leaned in. Her lips brushed my ear as she whispered, "Wanna look?" My body reacted before my mind could. Muscles locked, breath stalled. The room blurred at the edges like a camera losing focus. A look at what?" I managed. Helena straightened, eyes glinting. In her hand was her phone, screen dark, face down, held like evidence. "You deserve to know," she said, "after everything." The band hit a high note. Applause erupted. Somewhere, Natalie laughed. "I shouldn't," I said, though my hand twitched. Helena's thumb hovered over the screen. "You already did the hard part," she murmured. "You showed up." I nodded once. Helena turned the phone toward me, and the moment I saw what was on that screen, the world I thought I'd survived cracked wide open. I pulled back as if the phone had burned me. "No," I said too quickly. That's not what it looks like." Helena didn't argue. She slipped the phone back into her clutch, the smirk gone now, replaced by something heavier, almost pity. That's usually how truth arrives, uninvited. I shook my head, scanning the room like an exit might suddenly appear. "You don't know the full story." "I know enough," she replied. "I always did." The music shifted into something upbeat, cruelly cheerful. Guests clapped in rhythm. Natalie spun in her new husband's arms, radiant, untouched by the quiet earthquake happening 10 feet away. "I came for closure," I muttered. "Whatever you're implying, it's years too late." Helena's voice lowered. "Late doesn't mean meaningless." I wanted to believe she was wrong. I wanted to believe the image on that screen hadn't reopened a door I'd sealed with therapy sessions and long sleepless nights. My chest tightened, not with longing, but fear. Because if Helena was right, then my pain hadn't been accidental. It had been curated.
I came for closure, not to be dragged backward." She studied me, then sighed. "Closure is a luxury, Daniel. Sometimes all we get is truth." A waiter brushed past us, apologizing. The room felt suddenly too small, airless. I set my untouched glass down, hands trembling despite myself. "Please," I said, "let it go." Helena hesitated, just a beat too long. Something in her eyes flickered. Regret. Resolute. "We can't," she said quietly. "Not anymore." And as the song ended and applause thundered, I realized she wasn't threatening me. She was warning me. The fire alarm went off 5 minutes later. At first, everyone laughed, assuming it was part of the venue's over-the-top theatrics. But when the lights flickered and a sharp voice crackled over the speakers, panic threaded through the room. "Please proceed calmly to the east corridor," the announcer said. Guests surged toward the exits in a glittering wave. Someone bumped my shoulder, another spilled champagne down my sleeve. In the chaos, a firm hand closed around my wrist. "Helena." "Don't lose me," she said, not unkindly. We were pushed into a side hallway reserved for staff, dim, narrow, smelling faintly of cleaning solvent and warm wires. The door slammed shut behind us, sealing out the noise. An emergency light hummed overhead, casting everything in amber. I pulled my hand free. "This doesn't mean we keep talking." Helena leaned against the wall, exhaling. "It means we don't get to run." For a moment, neither of us spoke. The silence pressed in, thick with everything unsaid. I noticed her hands were shaking, just a slightly. That surprised me. "You planned this? The timing? The whisper?" She looked up sharply. "You think I enjoy this?" "I think you enjoy control." A sad smile touched her lips. "I enjoy honesty. They're not the same." Outside, muffled laughter drifted through the walls, oblivious. Inside this narrow corridor, the past felt claustrophobic, unavoidable. Helena straightened. "Daniel, whatever you think you saw, it's only the beginning." My pulse thudded in my ears. "Then stop." She met my gaze, steady now. "I can't." And in that forced closeness, with no exits and no distractions, I realized the truth wasn't just waiting, it was advancing. Helena opened her clutch again, slower this time, like she was bracing herself. She didn't hand me the phone. Instead, she held it to her chest. "Before you see anything else," she said, voice tight, "you need context." I laughed under my breath. Context is what people ask for when they're about to be hurt. She didn't deny it. "You remember the winter Natalie asked you to move out?" "Of course I do. The way Natalie couldn't meet my eyes, the packed bag by the door that hadn't been there that morning. She said she needed space, said I was distant." Helena swallowed. She was already gone. The Holloway tilted. "Gone where?" "Toward someone else," she said. "Someone she'd been seeing for months." My jaw tightened. "Then why didn't she just say that?" "Because she thought she was protecting you." I scoffed. "By letting me think I was the problem?" "Yes." Silence crashed between us. The emergency light flickered, as if it too struggled to stay steady. Helena finally unlocked the phone and turned it toward me again. This time, I didn't look away. It was a message thread, dates, times, photos I'd never seen. Natalie's laugh frozen beside another man's shoulder, intimate, casual, cruel in its normalcy. Then a screenshot of an email. "Daniel doesn't suspect anything. He blames himself." My stomach dropped. "That email," Helena said, "was sent to me by accident." I stared at the words, my reflection ghosted over the screen. Years of self-doubt suddenly had a shape, a sender, a choice. "You knew?" I whispered. She nodded once. "I confronted her. She begged me not to tell you, said it would destroy you." A bitter smile twisted my mouth. She was right, just slower. Helena's eyes shone. "I should have told you anyway. That's on me." The truth didn't roar. It sank in, heavy and suffocating. Every fight, every apology I made for sins I didn't commit, reframed. I handed the phone back, fingers numb. "Why now?" Helena hesitated, then said, "Because tonight, watching you stand alone while she rewrote history, I couldn't stay quiet anymore." My chest ached, but beneath the pain was something unfamiliar, relief, and the unsettling realization that the woman standing in front of me, once just my ex-wife's mother, was the only one brave enough to finally give me the truth.
Before we go any further, take a second to join this family by hitting the subscribe button. Drop a comment and tell me where you're watching from. I read every one of them. I've got another powerful story coming tomorrow, and you won't want to miss it. Now, let's continue. The alarm outside cut off mid-beep. Silence followed. Real silence this time. No music, no laughter. Just the hum of electricity and two people breathing through something that had finally been named. I slid down the wall until I was sitting on the cold tile floor. My legs didn't trust me anymore. Helena surprised me by doing the same. She lowered herself beside me, careful, dignified, even in exhaustion. I spent years hating myself for not being enough, for missing something obvious. "I know," she replied. "I watched it happen." I looked at her then. "Why didn't you hate me?" She gave a soft, humorless laugh. "I tried. It would have been easier." A small smile tugged at my mouth despite everything. "You're terrible at it." She glanced at me, eyes warmer now. "So are you. You kept showing up, even tonight." We sat shoulder to shoulder, not touching, but close enough to feel each other's presence. For the first time in years, I felt safe. Not fixed, just understood. I thought love was something you earn by shrinking, by apologizing first. Helena shook her head. "Love isn't a courtroom, Daniel. You don't have to prove your innocence to deserve it." Her words settled gently, like a hand on my back. Outside, footsteps approached, voices echoed, guests being guided back in. The world was restarting. Before we stood, Helena spoke again, softer. "Whatever happens next, you didn't imagine your pain." I nodded, throat tight. "Thank you for seeing me." She met my gaze, something unspoken passing between us. Not romance, not yet, but connection. As we rose and headed toward the door, a strange thought surfaced, quiet, hopeful, terrifying. Maybe this wasn't just an ending. Maybe it was the first honest beginning I'd had in years. The doors swung open and the music rushed back in like nothing had happened. Natalie spotted us immediately. Her smile faltered just a fraction when she saw Helena beside me, not behind me, not distant, beside. She excused herself from her new husband and crossed the room, heels sharp, jaw set. "What's going on?" she asked, eyes flicking between us. Helena straightened. "I told him." Natalie's face drained of color. "You had no right." I felt something snap, not violently, but cleanly. "You lost that right when you let me hate myself for your choices." Guests nearby quieted. Natalie lowered her voice, urgent. "Daniel, this isn't the place." "You made it the place," I said. "Tonight, this wedding, this performance." Her eyes flashed. "I tried to spare you." "No," I said, steady now. "You tried to spare yourself." The words landed harder than I expected. Natalie's mouth opened, then closed. For a second, I almost saw the woman I once loved, scared, cornered. Helena stepped forward. "Enough." Natalie turned on her. "You ruined this." Helena's voice trembled, but she didn't retreat. "You ruined it when you lied." The room felt fragile, like glass under pressure. Natalie's new husband approached, confused, protective. "We're leaving," Natalie said sharply, grabbing his arm. As she walked away, she didn't look back. The silence she left behind was brutal. I exhaled, hands shaking. I shouldn't have said any of that. Helena touched my arm, just briefly. "You should have said it years ago." Still, the damage was done. Eyes watched, whispers bloomed. And as Helena withdrew her hand, I felt the fear return, sharp and familiar. Because now that everything was out in the open, I had to face the hardest question of all. Who was I without the lie that had defined me? I stepped outside onto the terrace, the night air cool against my flushed skin. Below, the city pulsed, headlights like moving constellations, lives continuing without any regard for the wreckage upstairs. For the first time in years, I wasn't blaming myself, but I was alone. I rested my hands on the railing, breathing slowly. Truth had given me freedom, but freedom felt terrifying when you didn't know where to walk next. Behind me, the terrace door opened. I didn't turn. "I should go," Helena said softly. Something in her tone, final, careful, made my chest tighten. "You don't have to," I replied, still facing the city. "I do," she said. "Tonight was about you reclaiming yourself, not whatever this is becoming." I turned then. "And what is it becoming?" She hesitated. For the first time, Helena Ward looked uncertain. "Complicated." I stepped closer. "So is healing." She smiled sadly. "You deserve someone without baggage." I shook my head. "I deserve someone honest." Silence stretched between us, alive and dangerous. This was the moment where people usually chose safety, where I usually chose safety. "Helena," I said, steady despite the fear, "don't disappear on me, not after seeing me this clearly." Her eyes searched my face as if looking for an excuse to leave, and not finding one. Finally, she exhaled. "If I stay, everything changes." I nodded. "I know." She didn't move away, and in that stillness, choice replaced fear, for both of us. The terrace lights flickered on, soft and warm, bathing Helena's face in gold. She reached into her clutch again, not hurried, not dramatic, but pulled out her phone. This time, she didn't smirk. She held it between us and said gently, "Do you still want to look?" I understood now. It was never about the screen. "Yes," I said, "at what comes next." She smiled, really smiled, and slipped the phone away. Inside, the band began a new song, life insisting on joy. Helena laughed quietly, the sound surprising both of us. I haven't let myself want anything in a long time. I've been someone's mother, someone's conscience, never someone's choice. I met her gaze. "Then let me choose you." For a moment, the past hovered, age, history, what people would say. Then Helena did something brave. She took my hand, not as my ex-wife's mother, not as the keeper of secrets, as a woman who had finally stepped out from behind silence. Weeks later, we met for coffee, then dinner, then long walks where truth was the only rule. Love didn't rush in. It arrived carefully, honestly, and stayed. The night she first stayed over, she whispered, smiling, "Funny how one look can change everything." I kissed her forehead. Funny how the truth finally set us free. Because sometimes unexpected love doesn't arrive loudly. Sometimes it leans in and asks, "Wanna look?"
If stories like this stay with you long after they end, then this channel was made for you. Subscribe and stay with us. And before you go, tell me, do you believe love always finds its way back?